everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alicia. I post new videos every Thursday, primarily tumbler tutorials, but I do a lot of other things too. So when you're done watching this video, jump back on my channel and check out some of the other cool things I've done. All right, so this week I am going to do a tooled leather tumbler tutorial. I'm not going to do the entire cup though. I don't want the whole cup to look like tooled leather. I'm going to do the other half glitter. It's actually going to be a little bit bigger, like a little bit more than half of the tooled leather, and then some of the rest of it is going to be glitter. I'm going to be working on a 20-ounce skinny straight. So if you are interested to see how to do this and what I came up with, stick around and I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing I'm going to show you is my design. I got this from Creative Fabrica, and of course, like I do everything, I will list and link it down below. And I didn't want to use the whole pattern, so what I did was I pulled it up on my Cricut Design Space, and I basically edited out what I didn't want. And so it took a little while to do this. It wasn't necessarily an easy process, and you kind of had to blow it up, but I really didn't want anything too super intricate. I really do not have patience for weeding, so I didn't want anything super intricate that was going to take me a long time and like completely frustrate me. So this is what I finally came up with after I edited it out. And I put it on here, and the last thing I did was put a diamond in there because those little tiny diamond marks would have drove me insane. I know it. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm just going to put a diamond and make it solid. All right, so here I am just putting some transfer tape on it. I am going to reverse weed this. And so if you're not familiar with reverse weeding, it is where you basically take the whole paper back off and then peel it off of the transfer tape. I find that to be easier when you're dealing with some patterns where there's either a lot of vinyl or there's some intricate vinyl, which there is, this isn't, crazy intricate because I weeded out a lot of it, but this is intricate enough where I wanted to reverse weed it. So I did speed this up because, I don't even have the patience to do it, let alone the patience to wash it. And I'm just assuming that my watchers and my subscribers and followers feel the same way. Probably not, but anyway, so I sped it up. I put it on the cup. I used Oracle 651 gloss vinyl. So what I did was I just took my sanding block and just kind of roughed it up a little bit and took that gloss off. Just be careful when you're doing this because you do have little fine edges that you don't want to pull up. And I did pull up one, so I just kind of glued it down with some super weld glue or some like super glue stuff. So you can see like I'm kind of pushing it down. And I'm like, I'm going to have problems with this. Oh, and I'm sanding the rest of the cup too. So normally I would start with a sanded and prepped cup, and I didn't. I did it after the fact. So here I am coming with this like super glue stuff and a little dabber tool because I don't need anything big. It's just the pointy ends that are coming up. So this is how I'm fixing that problem. I'm just dabbing this, it's a dotter tool, yes, and it's got like a super little dotter on the end, and it was perfect to get underneath that lifted vinyl. All right, now I'm going to tape this off, the section that I don't want to paint, so that's the back side that's going to be the glitter. I trim the bottom. Here I take it outside. I am going to spray paint this flat white. And actually, no, I'm lying. I'm sorry. This is gray, and I think it's, Thundercloud is the name of it. It is Rustoleum 2 times, probably gloss. Yeah, it's gloss, and I think the name is Thundercloud. All right, so when that's nice and dry, give it about a half an hour to an hour to dry. I'm going to come in with my alcohol inks, and this is Tim Holtz Indigo, and I'm going to do two layers of this. One layer. So this layer isn't going on as dark as I want it. I wanted it to be, well, actually it's going on as dark. It's just that there's some white that you can see the gray through underneath, and that's not really what I want. So then I'm going to come in with a second layer, and it's nice and dark, and then I'm going to come in with what I thought was black. and I didn't realize it was just another dark blue. So my bad. So now I've got 4 layers, no, 3 layers of a very dark blue. It's just another brand. And I will link this alcohol ink down below. Again, like I said before, that I list and link everything down below. So I put this 3rd layer on of dark blue, let it dry in between each coat, at least like 10 minutes. I sped it up with a hair dryer, and now I found my black, and here we go. So here's my black, and I wound up running out of my black. It's the same brand as the second blue I used, and I threw it away before I took a picture, because if you watch my videos, you know a lot of times I like to show a picture of my product that I'm using so that you understand what it is. I treat it like, if you're not familiar with what Mod Podge is, or Aleene's Tack It Over and Over, or polyacrylic, like those are the things that I list up above. So I did 2 coats of the black, and now after letting this dry for many, many hours, so this isn't something you want to come in and do right away. You do want to let it dry really well. I'm going to take actually 70% alcohol is what I'm using. I'm not using my 91%. I'm using 70%. It is taking it off, but it's not taking it off as quickly as the 91%. And I'm using a paper towel to go over this and rub the black off, but kind of distress it. And so when you do this with brown, it looks more like leather. My mindset was black leather, because I wear brown leather, but I wear black leather a lot more than I wear brown leather. So I was trying to do this so that it would look kind of like a black leather tooled, and I don't think I really achieved this, but I still like the look of it. So this one was pretty dark, and it didn't come out the way I had envisioned in my head. So you know what happens when it doesn't come out. I don't hate it, but it's not what I exactly want it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do another tumbler, because that's what I do. I'll leave it because I like it. But now I'm going to, after I'm done messing with this, I'm going to come in a second time, and I'm going to try to achieve the look that was in my brain. All right, so after this is dried for many, many, many hours, I wouldn't put a coat of epoxy on it in less than 4 to 6 hours. That's just me. You do you. I did not spray seal this with anything. So I know a lot of people want to, and I've not had good luck with sometimes spray sealing. Sometimes it's actually made the alcohol ink run. So I make sure it's good and dry. I actually let this cup dry overnight, and then I came in with a quick set epoxy. You don't need a lot because you're only doing half of the cup, so I probably only used about maybe 10 mLs on this, because I am doing a very thin layer. I'm not doing a thick layer, because this is just, I just want to seal in this alcohol ink before I go and work on the back side of it. So I put this on, I torch for bubbles. If you're not familiar with using torches or heat guns, torches pop better than heat guns. Heat guns really move around the epoxy, and torches really pop bubbles better. So after I get that on, I torch my bubbles, I take off my tape, and I'm going to let this turn for a few hours. So this is a quick set epoxy. It'll be ready to handle within 4 hours. And I do want to give it that time, because I am going to be taping it up when I go into my next step. So I'm just torching again. I always like to torch 2 to 3 times. As soon as I put it on, and then I wait a few minutes and torch, and then sometimes I even come back. Not so much on a quick set epoxy though, because it sets so much quicker, so I do not come in for a third go around as far as torching. I want to make sure that all those bubbles are popped, that we don't have any micro bubbles or anything sticking up. All right, so here we go with tumbler number 2. Now, I didn't show you doing all the same things, because you already saw me do it once. So now here I am coming in with black. So I use the same gray, and I found another type of black, and I forget which brand this is. I think this is Marabou Black. Marabou, yes, Marabou. not even sounding like I can say that correctly. Marabou marbling ink. It's not marbling ink though. It's just Marabou alcohol ink. If I say that one more time, I'm probably going to drive you guys crazy. All right, so I am going to do, this is layer number 1. I'm going to come in with a layer number 2, and then I'm going to come in with a layer of number 3. Let this dry overnight. Now here I go again with my 91% alcohol, and I am rubbing this off again. All right, so this is still not quite what I envisioned, but I actually really like this a lot. So I think I'm gonna, and I'm not gonna do it in this video, I am gonna do a brown tooled leather design so that I can just say that I did it with the right colors. But if you follow me, you know, sometimes I do things off the beaten path, and so this is one of those things. But it's not coming out like the black leather like I thought, but I really like it. So I'm going to keep going with this and just kind of distressing this off. And you know, if you distress off too much of the ink, you can always add it again. So don't worry if you take too much of that black off, because I actually did with this one. I took too much of the black off and kind of had too much of a smooth gray spot. So I do come in a bit, and I add a little bit more and let that dry and just kind of blend in some black back in. All right, so I'm going to skip to that part, and then we're going to move along. All right, I changed my mind. I'm actually just going to put on some lovely iMovie music so you can watch the process. I'm not going to cut this out. So it may make this video a little bit longer, but it's worth it to watch it if you really want to get the full effect on how I got the look in the end. All right, so here we go, some music. All right, so after I'm done and that's nice and dry, oh, this is actually, all right, so we're back to tumbler number 1, the darker one. And so there was a little bit of like, you know, alcohol ink that got onto the tumbler. You can just take 91% alcohol, or you can take some acetone. The acetone takes it off much easier. Just be really careful with it that you don't rub off too much on the epoxy, and just smooth out the I want to say overspray, but it's not overspray, but let's just call it overspray because that's kind of what it is. But it's just not spray paint, it's alcohol ink. So it leaked, it got underneath that tape. So make sure your tape is nice and tight to the cup so that it doesn't get underneath it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and finish cleaning that up. Now, next step is I am going to retape this. After I get done messing with it and getting all the rest of the alcohol off, I am going to retape this cup. All right, so what I want to show you is I'm going to take off this blue painter's tape, and I am going to put it on my shirt, or you can do it on a piece of clothing or a towel, and I'm going to kind of de-sticky it a little bit. I do not want full stickiness on this, on the epoxy, because the epoxy is only one layer. It's very thin, and you run the risk of pulling it up if you use a full strength tape. So I am de-sticking it by putting it on my sleeve, and then in hopes that I won't have any issues when I pull it up. And I don't want to leave this on very long either, because I feel like sometimes the longer you leave tape on, the more it kind of like binds to the surface. So I just want to make sure that it doesn't stay on that long, that it's de-stickied. I'm going to cover the rest of the center with this just magazine inside page as just a filler, because, you know, we get these, my mother gets these things all the time, and I use them when she's done reading them. All right, so I went outside and I spray painted this yellow. I think it is sunflower yellow or something. I will post the colors in the description box. And I'm using the paint as the adhesive, so you can do that, but it's got to be nice and wet. So I am going to let that layer dry. I'm coming in and messing with this lighter gray cup again with the black spots that I added back in and dried. And so I'm just going to come in and just double check, and I'm good with that. So this layer is dry. I actually did 2 layers. So I went and I spray painted the yellow with a gloss clear, and then I used that as the adhesive for the second layer of yellow. So there's 2 layers of glitter on here, and this yellow escapes my mind. It will be listed down below. It is by Glitter Makes It. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love this like golden yellow color. It's so super pretty. All right, so what I'm going to do is I had taped the cup back up again for a third time. And the reason why I did that was because when I peeled it off, I didn't want the glitter that was on the tape to get onto the tooled leather look part. So I just mixed up 15 mLs of epoxy, and I just put it on the yellow, and I am going to torch for bubbles as I always do. I am going to remove that tape right away. You do not want to leave that tape on. If you leave that tape on, it will get sealed to the cup, and then you're going to have some serious issues. So you do not want to do that. Once that layer is cured, I'm going to go over and do a layer of epoxy over the entire cup before I'm ready to do my striping, which is the final step in finishing this cup. Here is cup number 2. I used a glitter called Milky Way. I absolutely love it. And I will do the same thing as I did on the other one, 2 coats. Here I am with my pinstriping, and this is a holographic black, and I am just going to go down and just seal up those seams. I will not go from the tippy top to the tippy bottom because of the rounded edges of the tumbler. It will create like a sort of buckling with your vinyl. So what I'm going to do is not go completely to the top and bottom, but I'm going to take black alcohol ink and I'm going to fill it in like it's part of the vinyl, and you're never going to notice the difference. So that is my little tip, black alcohol ink. And I also had to fix a spot, because guess what happened? A little bit of epoxy came up with the tape and pulled up a little bit of the color too. So I'm just going to fill that in with black, and it's going to be beautiful. I'm going to put my pinstriping on there. I'm going to put 2 coats of epoxy, and this cup is going to be done, and I will be back with my final remarks. All right, guys, these tumblers are done. Fortunately, it only took 1 final coat to finish these, so yay! But I did leave the glitter part blank. So I left it blank in case somebody wants to buy this and they want to put a saying or their name on the back of this. If I already put a saying on it, sometimes people don't like that, and I find that I have a harder time selling it. So I leave it blank, and then this way, if they want their name or saying, it's blank for them. So Tell me, guys, what you think. Which one you like better? I know this is not traditional tooled leather, not even remotely close. And I think maybe just because we're always used to the brown leather. And so this is definitely, this is blue. This is absolutely blue. And so that's why I went with the yellow to give it a nice bright pop of color. And with this, I felt like it was just, with this being lighter, I don't know, I just felt like this silver, this Milky Way it's called, would look really nice, and it does. And the holographic striping gives it another little pop. So you know what, not exactly what I was going for, or not exactly tooled leather, but I like these, and I like this technique. And so I think that I want to try other colors. I definitely want to try like a black and red. I think that might be interesting. I don't know. It could be a hot mess. Who knows? But that's, you know, what I like to do. I like to experiment, and I like to show you guys when I experiment what it comes out with. So tell me, guys, do you like one over the other? Do you have a favorite? And my camera just moved by itself. That was like really freaky. Okay. All right, guys. So that is it for this video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, share, comment. I love to hear your feedback, and all of those things help my channel to grow. Hi.
Hi.
If you guys aren't normally, if you guys don't normally follow me, this is my daughter Aria. And she jumps in a lot and helps me with my likes and subscribes. You know, says, what do you say?
Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, hi.
I'm like all tongue-tied now. Blah. For all of those who know Aria, say hi to everybody you know.
Hi, everybody.
All right, guys, that is it for this tutorial this week. I will see you all in the next video. Bye.